You take the gun off the kid. I often tell people this. What's he going to do? He's going to replace it with a bat. You take the bat, replace it with a knife. You take all weapons, he'll kick you. Take his legs, he'll kick. Until the heart changes, we are still going to have decay and chaos in the urban setting all over the country.
I've been coming here for a little over 2 years. Well, actually, there's no billboard or anything here to see the gym. It's just like a little place that you wouldn't expect it to be. I've been living in Philadelphia for about 8 years, and I live on the northern side of Kensington, and I always come by here. I never saw the place. So I seen people come out with gym bags and stuff, and just one day maybe come here and look and see what's going on.
How many know and agree there's hypocrites in the church? Yeah, hands going up all over the place. And I hear it all the time. There's too many hypocrites there, right? But let me ask you something. You think there ain't hypocrites out in the world? You see now how people make it rain on the video, right? And you think there's somebody else up there dropping $1 bills behind the camera that you don't see. And I've been in a lot of video shoots, and it's all set up from rented stuff to make you think that dude rules and owns all of that stuff, okay? So listen, there's hypocrites everywhere. Are people even still grilling anymore in album covers? No. For the platinum fangs and all that, okay? So think about it, okay? Never let hypocrites in the church be an excuse for you not serving Christ, because they're always going to be there. I don't disagree with you. I won't argue that there's hypocrites in the church, but hypocrites are everywhere. Yet people are still trying to be hard off of the hypocrites that are behind the camera lens, who ain't really what they try to make themselves out to be. Okay? So all right, now Josh is going to come up and talk about some realness with us. So come on and give it up for Josh.
Who can tell me what faith is?
Believe in something.
Huh?
Believe in something.
Believe in something, right? There has to be an object, right? An object to your faith, right? You can't just have faith in nothing, right? Right? Everybody puts their faith in something, right? Some people put their faith in money. Huh? Right? What else? How else can you explain faith? Anyone? Faith is kind of hard to explain, right? It's not something that's real tangible, right? It's like, love, right? Love's real, but you can't really grasp it, right? But you know it exists, right? Or hate. Right? You feel hate, you know hate's real, right? And it manifests itself in ways, right? Love manifests itself in different ways, right? You can show affection towards someone because you love them, right? We probably use more of that in this world, huh? Love manifesting itself, Turn on the news for 5 minutes, you can see hate manifest itself, right? All the hatred in the world, right? All the wars taking place. So faith is kind of like this non-tangible thing, but it manifests itself in ways, right?
Describe the Kensington area is a pretty horrible statistics if you look at it. First of all, kids in the inner city, they say that by the time you reach the age of 18, you adopted the lifestyle of a thug. You're going to kill somebody, rob, rape, maim, or you're going to be killed yourself. Kensington, 50% of the kids, the young kids, our kids in this area experience hunger pains when they go to bed. We have the highest concentration of AIDS in Kensington. We have literally 90% of the arrest for prostitutions comes from Kensington. We're 35 feet away from it's the number one drug corner in the state of Pennsylvania, top 5 in the country. The purest heroin, sold, coke, crack, you name it, you got it.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. George can't hit what his hands can't see. Now you see me, now you don't.
Well, what happened was I was training, when I had got out of prison, I was training fighters at Joe Ham's gym. Joe Ham is a man who does a lot of HBO fights, closed circuit television. He was like the pioneer of that. And he was a very good friend of mine. So at some point when I got out, I started to train kids. I was a Christian, but I wasn't sharing my faith with anybody. And it was at that time that we took a kid to the Nationals, and he went to the finals, and he lost the fight. So we go back to the gym 2 weeks later. I haven't seen him. I says, "Where's Henry?" He never showed up. Here, I'm sitting on a prison block getting ready to teach a Bible study, and who walks in but 17-year-old Henry? And he was in there for homicide. He killed somebody. Well, I was born and raised in Kensington to the time I was 26. I wound up getting caught up, was indicted on RICO charges, was facing, literally life in prison. And I was sentenced to 8 years. If I was convicted after 1991, I still would be incarcerated because prior to 91, the judge can deviate from the sentencing guidelines, and he can give you whatever he wants, probation. So we got, the top guy got 15 years, and then the lower tier guy. So I got 8, did 5. And so what happened was, I used to be a fighter and traveled the United States, traveled the country, traveled the world on the USA boxing team as a kid. And so when I got out of prison, 3 years after prison, I gave my life to Christ. And then what happened from that point on, I went into the prison system to conduct a Bible study. And it was one day while I was in the prison system, I had 28 young men, all African American. And I asked them, I says, "Let me ask you something. Who was the first time you ever heard about Christ? Was it from your mom?" Hand went up. "How about your grandma?" More hands went up. I said, "How about your dad?" Not one hand went up. And at that point in time is when I felt as though we needed to do something more powerful on the street corner, on the street block, instead of going to the prison block. And that's really how Rock Ministries was birthed.
In the beginning, when it was real small, Buddy was pretty much the boxing coach. And then somebody like me came along eventually. I never trained as a boxer or as a trainer. But through being here and my love for boxing, I developed a knack for being able to instruct people in boxing, and I became a coach. A couple other people came along the way who came to Christ, heard about what we were doing, and then just started getting involved, who were from the boxing world, and everybody just kind of took their place.
Okay. How is the gym financially run?
Private donations.
Private donations?
Yes.
So that's how it stays.
Yep, it's a full nonprofit. We don't charge a dime for what we do here, so everything is completely free. The only thing we charge is their time in Bible studies. They're required to stay for the Bible studies we do, but we don't charge any money.
Can you talk a little bit about the impact you see in these children once they start coming here?
Yeah. It always starts with the desire to fight, and we just build off of that. So their main reason for wanting to come, we know, is because they want to develop as a boxer. So we just kind of try to take advantage of that and build into their lives through the boxing. So they come in and they begin learning that what they've known has been wrong. What they thought about fighting, how to stand, how to hold their hands up, and all that stuff. As we begin training them, we immediately have their ear, which we know most people in their lives don't have their ear. But we have an immediate rapport with them because of their desire to box well. And as we start building them up with the boxing, character development occurs along the way. Not just because we're saying you can be better people, but we're trying to explain to them what God can do in their life. And boxing becomes a means and even just an analogy in and of itself for the gospel and how we can teach the gospel through it. So we see guys beginning to do better in school. We see them most times being less hot-tempered, learning how to conduct themselves with some more character, how to work with one another, how to use the ability to fight well for good as opposed to for bad, and even then beginning to help in the neighborhood. They get involved with programs and projects that we do and actually contribute to what we do here.
You take the gun off the kid. I often tell people this. What's he going to do? He's going to replace it with a bat. You take the bat, he'll replace it with a knife. You take all weapons, he'll kick you. Take his legs, he'll kick. Until the heart changes, we are still going to have decay and chaos in the urban setting all over the country. Until men of God roll up their sleeves and get busy and say, you know what, I want to get off my rocking chair. I want to get off my chair. I want to stop watching TV, and I want to go down into the hood and watch and help these kids. I love when somebody donates a couple hours a month. That's all it takes. And this is anywhere. I'm not just talking about Kensington, Newark, Trenton, Camden. It goes on and on and on. The men have to step up.